What's up, everyone? It's Lord Ryujin bringing you another YouTube project, and I wanted to go ahead and take the time to talk about this year's E3. Finally had some time after work to sit down and watch everyone respectively, and E3 is still going, so there's still a lot of stuff that may come out between now and the end of the week that they haven't really shown off yet. But I do want to talk about what I did see, though. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with Nintendo, since they had the shortest not much to show. They really just talked about Legend of Zelda. It does have a official title now, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wind, and the trailer that they showed makes it look like they're focusing more on exploration and stuff. Things able to climb, just kind of take on any kind of horse and stuff like that. It's really neat looking. I'm interested to see how it's going to look, even though I really do think it's kind of too little too late at this point. I mean, you're going to say it's coming out for the Wii U and the NX. I don't think anybody's really going to be interested in having it for the Wii U, more like it's going to be for the NX, but that's just me. Still looking forward to playing the game though, regardless. They also did show off some Legend of Zelda amiibo. Not really sure how it's going to work with them, but there was 3 that they showed off. And in addition, they also showed that the Wolf Link amiibo will be able to connect to Legend of Zelda, at least on the Wii U, possibly on the NX, depending upon what kind of technology it has. And it will allow Wolf Link to be able to hunt with you. And that's a really neat feature. Get some use out of my Wolf Link amiibo. Really looking forward to that. So that's pretty much that when it comes to Nintendo. Now when it comes to Microsoft. Microsoft had a nice presentation. They showed off Gears of War 4. They showed off some Scalebound, which I'm really looking forward to playing that. I mean, it's Platinum Games. Just about anything that Platinum Games comes out with, I'm interested, and I usually love to play. Then they also showed off the Xbox One S, pretty much the slim version. It's going to be 4K gaming, which I'm really surprised on, because I really thought that we weren't going to get 4K gaming anytime soon, probably for the next console generation. But I really do think that with the way they're talking about now, with how they're coming out with like Project Scorpio and the Xbox One S and stuff like that, and how the games are going to work back and forth. They're going to work for all of it. It's going to work for Windows 10. It doesn't matter what kind of system you have. All the games are going to work for them. I really do think that we are sort of at the end of the consoles. I really do think it's just going to be about the hardware that you own, and if you want to play with lower specs, that's completely up to you. You know, kind of thing. So yeah, that's that. There are also games like ReCore that they showed off that I'm really interested in. And I'm having a lot of difficulty remembering some of the stuff they showed off. I remember they talked about Cortana, which, yay, Cortana. Kind of should have had that from the beginning, though, since you've been able to use your PlayStation 4 for voice commands from the beginning. At least with the headphones plugged in. And they showed off crossplay, which, you know, I'm finally glad that they're doing that also, because you've been able to do that since like the PS3 days. But the fact is now you can basically buy a game digitally and get it on both the Xbox One as well as Windows 10, so you can go back and forth between like a Windows 10 laptop and an Xbox One if you wanted to. It's a really cool function, and something that I kind of think that other companies are going to eventually adopt, because it's slowly becoming the thing now to where people want to be able to transition from console to portable or, you know, whatever. But with that in mind, that's pretty much the end of that when it comes to Microsoft. I can't really think of much else that they are coming out with that I can remember right now. I'll probably have to go back through and watch that, but, you know, yeah, I really can't remember much else that they're coming out with. So let's just go ahead and move on to Sony. And I think that Sony basically won E3 this year. They came out with a lot of great surprises. They announced a lot of great games, some of which we already knew, some of which were surprises. Surprisingly, nothing about the PlayStation Neo, though. But that's more likely going to be something they're going to talk about later. I don't really know. Now, in case you didn't watch any of these press conferences, I can always recommend you go back and watch them, of course, and make sure that you put down in the comments below the games that you're most interested in playing. But for me, when it comes at least to Sony's end, I think there's going to be the most that I'm going to be interested in playing coming out from them. I mean, first of all, they showed off God of War. Didn't have any kind of particular title or anything, it was just God of War. So, there's that. and they called it just God of War. So it's not, I don't know if it's gonna be a reboot or whatever, but it's really interesting to see. They changed the gameplay of it a lot. And then they also showed off like The Last Guardian. They gave an announced date of, I think it's October 25th of this year. And they showed off a lot of really great games like Detroit, which is coming from another one of my favorite game developers, Quantic Dream. I love everything that they've come out with. Every single game of theirs has been a game that I've loved. And I always love the choice and decision-based stuff that they come out with. Games like Heavy Rain and Go Prophecy and stuff like that. Really great games. And then, of course, they showed off a lot of great surprises. The PlayStation VR is coming out. And one of the first games that's coming out for it is Resident Evil 7, which it actually took me by surprise. My jaw dropped to the floor. Resident Evil 7. We're actually getting a Resident Evil 7. It's going to be in first person, and it's going to be using the PlayStation VR headset, so it's going to feel a lot like PT did. But it's going to be using virtual reality, which I think is going to make the experience even that much better. And of course we got all kinds of stuff. They talked about they're remaking Crash Bandicoot. I'm trying to think of what else they came out with. But basically, to me, Sony hands down had the best E3 presentation. Now I'm surprised that they didn't talk more about stuff like Nier Automata, which I believe is currently at this time still a PlayStation 4 exclusive game from Square Enix. But maybe Square Enix will talk about that later. There's probably going to be more information about it coming, because like I said, there's still a lot more about E3. But this year's E3 was kind of good. Sony's was still the most impressive to me. And I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was the most underwhelming E3. You know, like the past couple of years, Nintendo's been there, so maybe I was expecting something from them. Microsoft, they put in a lot of effort into it as well, so they did a good job. I feel like ultimately all the companies did what they were supposed to do. They got hype behind these games. Surprisingly, no talk about Shenmue 3. I don't know if that game's been officially canceled or what's going on with it, but there's been no talk of Shenmue 3 for a while. But yeah, otherwise I think this year's E3 was pretty good, and I'll probably do an update video with more stuff that they may potentially talk about. Because there's been some neat stuff. I mean, even as you can see here, I'm playing this General Rom from Gears of War, and that's probably just because of Gears of War 4 coming out soon and stuff. But I mean, there's been some pretty good announcements here and there. Make sure that you put in the comments what you're looking forward to playing the most. Me personally, I'm looking forward to playing Last Guardian, Horizon, I think they called it Zero Dawn or something like that. Of course, that Detroit game, Scalebound, Gears of War 4, Recore, stuff like that. Those kind of games are what I'm really looking forward to playing, as well as some of the indie games that they announced, as well as Legend of Zelda whenever we get that. So that's my video for now, guys. I thank you for watching. As always, I'm Lord Ryujin, and have yourself a good one, and I'll see you next time.